North Korea EMP b.omb w.arning huge threat to U.S. as regime declares sanctions active. North Korea is capable of inflicting huge casualties on the American people with the use of electromagnetic pulse (EMP) technology, author Gordon Chang told Express.co.uk. He said, the casualties that there would be from the detonation of a single detonation of an electromagnetic pulse device. Some people say it would kill 90% of all Americans within 6 months. I don't think that would happen, but, nonetheless, we are talking about massive casualties resulting from the detonation from just a single device. Donald Trump was warned that a North Korean EMP device would bring down the U.S. power grid, prompting a wave of chaos as the world's largest economy ground to a halt. Mr. Chang said, "It's something the United States has to worry about. The North Koreans have talked about EMP devices. We know that the science behind it does indicate that you can cause massive devastation. There is no question that the United States has to be concerned that the North Koreans, with very little guidance and very little heat shielding, can cause a lot of damage to the American homeland." Last June, 2 members of a disbanded Congressional EMP Commission told a U.S. House of Representatives Homeland Security Subcommittee hearing that a nuclear EMP attack from Kim Jong-un was the biggest threat to the U.S. William Graham, chairman of the former EMP Commission, and its former Chief of Staff, Peter Vincent Pry, warned such an attack could shut down the U.S. electric power grid for an indefinite period, leading to the death within a year of up to 90% of all Americans. Former Republican Representative Curt Weldon, who founded the commission, said, "A nuclear EMP attack would destroy electronics everywhere, cause planes to crash, stop cars and rail traffic, black out electric grids and other critical infrastructures that make modern civilization, and life itself, possible. Eventually, millions would die from starvation, disease, and societal collapse." The warning comes as the rogue state said the UN's latest round of sanctions were tantamount to complete an economic blockade. North Korea's foreign ministry said, "We define this sanctions resolution rigged up by the U.S. and its followers as a grave infringement upon the sovereignty of our republic, as an act of war violating peace and stability in the Korean peninsula and the region, and categorically reject the resolution. North Korea's nuclear weapons are a self-defensive deterrence not in contradiction of international law. We will further consolidate our self-defensive nuclear deterrence aimed at fundamentally eradicating the U.S. nuclear threats, blackmail and hostile moves by establishing the practical balance of force with the U.S. The U.S. should not forget even a second the entity of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, which rapidly emerged as a strategic state capable of posing a substantial nuclear threat to the U.S. mainland. Those countries that raised their hands in favor of this sanctions resolution shall be held completely responsible for all the consequences to be caused by the resolution, and we will make sure forever and ever that they pay heavy price for what they have done." Kim Jong-un also used his media mouthpiece, the Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, to add that the U.S. is afraid of its nuclear capabilities and becoming more and more frenzied in the moves to impose the harshest ever sanctions and pressure on our country. The UN universally voted in favoring of increasing the world's stranglehold on despot leader Kim Jong-un on Friday as new limits were imposed on petrol and oil. The rogue state was slapped down with a 90% ban on petrol exports, limiting the regime to 500,000 barrels a year, while a drafted UN resolution sees a crude oil supply quota of 4 million barrels a year. A number was also imposed on earnings for North Koreans working abroad. Under the new sanctions, nationals have to return to the Hermit Kingdom within 24 months. Following the vote, Donald Trump stated that the world wants peace, not death. He tweeted, "The United Nations Security Council just voted 15-0 in favor of additional sanctions on North Korea. The world wants peace, not death."